it's almost like you're a ghost of the project for the rest of its duration. If you follow us at all, you know that I believe strongly that a successful project is all about setting up a smart scope of work right from the start. It's the difference between profitability and disaster. It's the difference between an active project and passive income. So what is a smart scope of work? Well, it's a budget to make sure that the deal is actually a deal. 2, it's vision for project management throughout the duration. And 3, it's expectations for everybody who walks on that job site. Here in a couple minutes, I'm going to tell you what I see as the key to setting up a successful project and therefore investment. But first, we need to build the initial scope of work. And if you remember correctly, the way that we build an initial scope of work is 3 steps. 1, we go through the jobs menu and we put in any of the jobs that we need to do on that project. Number 2, we go through media that we have, like pictures and videos, maybe inspection reports of that project. Hopefully we've already been there and taken that media. And then we refresh our memory, make sure that we didn't leave out anything in step number 1. And then number 3 is where we go through the details. We actually write out the tasks that we need to do in each one of those jobs, the units, and even the unit costs, so that way we have a budget set for the whole project. But remember, we don't actually know everything that's going to happen on that project. So as always, we start out with a blurry vision of the whole project. And as you move through the phases of the project, you're going to continue to focus in. At this point, we really have all of the information that we're going to have about phase 1. And so we can go ahead and really get into the weeds on phase 1 and make sure that we have this set up and can actually take this to contractors and have them bid on it. Now, let's talk about what I see as the most essential part of setting up a successful project. And that's the demo. If you do demo correctly, it's almost like you're a ghost of the project for its duration for everybody who comes on and off that job site. For instance, if you have demoed the tile floor like you wanted to, then everybody who walks in that bathroom knows this needs a new floor. If you've taken out a wall, everybody knows that this is the new layout. So it's very important that you get that right. You have to be terribly specific, otherwise you have one of the biggest issues, which I've run into multiple times, which is over demo, where somebody comes in and they see let's say the trim, and they think, well, I wouldn't want this in my house, and since you weren't specific in the scope, they go ahead and tear out the trim. Well, I didn't want that torn out because I'm always thinking creatively, and I'm always thinking about how I can save things instead of get rid of them and put in new. And so now I have trim taken out of the house, and so I have to pay to put in new trim. If I have set up the scope correctly and put the details in the demo, well, details are expectations, and expectations get accountability. So if somebody does go in there and over demo, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, but I didn't say to take out the trim. You took out the trim, please put it back. And it may seem simple, but it's, do we demo the floors? And which floors do we demo? Do we demo the tile? Do we demo the LVP? What about the carpet? Where do we stop? What do the transitions look like? What about the cabinets? Do we do the tops? Do we do the bottoms? Do we do both? Is it the kitchen? Is it the bathroom? Well, what about in the office? Okay, what about the walls? Is it just the drywall? Do we take it all out? Where does it end? You have to mark it. Okay, what about insulation? Do we take out the insulation? What about the framing? Does the wood go as well? What about the electrical that's inside of the walls? Hey, note right there. Make sure the electrician does this, not the guys that you have coming in to do the demo work. That will turn out bad. Decks. Which ones do we take out? Do we take them completely out, or do we leave the ledger board? What about the doors? Is it just the slabs, or do you take out the jambs as well? Do you take out the trim? What about trim? Do you take out the trim in all of the rooms, or is it just a couple of bedrooms? Do you take it just off the floor? Do you take it off the doors as well? Is it just the interior doors? What about the exterior doors? What about siding? appliances, windows, gutters, bathroom accessories like toilet paper holders, towel holders. This is how you set all of the expectations. You have to be as descriptive as possible. You have to be specific. No, this is not rocket science. I mean, it's pretty simple. I want the carpet torn out, so I say tear the carpet out and stop here and start here and so on and so forth. But like all project management, even the boring stuff, the stuff that is not rocket science, needs to be done with consistency. And that's what makes great project management. And truly, if you're great, because I believe that quality is really just consistency, you are going to get bored doing this stuff. And so make sure that you are disciplined and you sit down at your computer, you look through the jobs menu, you look at demo, and you think of everything that you might have to do. Because once again, this is what's going to set your project up for success.
Here we are, it's time to mark out the demo before we get started to make sure that people don't over demo or miss some of the things and want to come back. So here we are. Never think something's too obvious. It's always a mistake.
So we've gone through this house, we've marked everything that needs to come out, everything that needs to get demoed. Now that, in conjunction with your scope of work and inside of the job of demo, the details where you've written out everything that needs pulled out, those two things together work as your legs for accountability. You have set the expectations properly, you'll hand that to a subcontractor, you'll show them all the painted items in the house, and it should be very clear what you want. And now you truly can hold strong accountability to the expectations that you've set. So, details give us legs. This is something that you guys are interested in learning more about. Do the YouTube thing and like and share and whatever else they do.